Good evening, everyone. Welcome back once again to Vicious Rants. And of course, I'm your host, your YouTube Messiah, and often imitated, never duplicated, as well as like here is WWE Champion Tim Vicious, and we are talking about Extreme Rules was in Pittsburgh, PA, not that far from the Vicious Studios. I would have attended. I honestly would have, but as a rule of thumb, if I'm not on the card, I'm not going to go to the show. And what's the point of having a champion there if you're not going to defend? Now, before we get into that, the big news that broke earlier in the day before the pay-per-view actually started, WWE officially announced that after 3 years, they have now welcomed Hulk Hogan back into the Hall of Fame. Now, I know those few years ago I made the argument about with Hulk Hogan. I did not agree with anything he said, and to this day I still don't. However, show of hands, who here has never once said anything in confidence in a private conversation that could be considered inappropriate, vulgar, sexist, racist, anything wrong in any way, shape, or form, whether it could be considered sexist, racist, inappropriate, derogatory, anti-Semitic, whatever. I mean, for crying out loud, I used to do this show wearing a shirt that said infidel. And in fact, I wore that shirt on that very episode to make that statement. People fuck up and people make mistakes. That's a proven fact. Does that say I'm perfectly okay with it? God, no. Far from it. Far from it whatsoever. I did not agree with what Hulk Hogan said. However, as I've also said, he'll be welcomed back when the old man, Vince, decides it's time to welcome him back. He's been cast out like he was casted out like a leper, and now he's back. So, take it as it is, folks. And to all the people that are bitching and whining saying, oh, well, Hogan's back, but he said racist remarks, but they still won't put Chyna in the Hall of Fame. She only did this and this stuff. Okay, yeah. But you got to remember also, aside from doing porn and being in a mock ring, having 12 guys dressed as wrestlers go and do a gangbang on her, one, she threw out some pretty nasty shit at them at one point, and two, rumors and speculation and such, you can take it with a grain of salt. She wound up causing some big hoopla over at Triple H Hunter at Rowdy Piper's funeral. So she may not have been in the best of graces with the company. And honestly, if you're not in a good standing with the company, chances are you ain't going in. Why do you think Demolition ain't in yet? As much as they deserve it, they got a fucking lawsuit riding against the company. They ain't gonna get put in. That's just simple facts, Now, that said, let's move on. Let's move on to the main show. Extreme Rules, Pittsburgh, PA. Honestly, I would give this show a good solid, I can't even say 7.5. I'd say I gotta say it's more like an 8. I was impressed. I was like, wow. The entire show. And not in like a, okay, well, that just happened. It was more so like, I didn't really expect that finish. Interesting. So, first match we get pre-show Sin Cara versus Andrade, Cien, Almas, and this was really good. Fairly decent match, a lot better than what you normally see on a pre-show, And absolutely like seeing this. I know some people are going to look at this and shit on the idea thinking, oh well, Almas is on the pre-show so they don't care about him. Motherfucker! You would wind up finding a reason to shit over having a beautiful sunny day and a picnic in a park. Those kind of motherfuckers would do that. So don't even bother to listen to them. Enjoy the fact that somebody with talent is being put on TV, not just on TV, on pay-per-view, even if it's a damn pre-show, getting out there, getting spotlight on them, and making the most out of it. But yeah, this fairly good match, you know, very much so like it was the week leading into it, that Tuesday on SmackDown. Match came to an end. Almas, he hit the double knee and then a hammerlock DDT. Got the 1, 2, 3. That was it. Next up, we get another pre-show match. New Day versus SAnity in a 6-man table match. And, you know, you gotta think. It's kind of actually funny when you think about it because a few years ago, the New Day were starting a campaign against the Dudleys about with Save the Tables. You know, they were doing a Save the Tables. They were doing that. And now they're in a tables match. Well, so much for Save the Tables. Anyways, really nice, good start. Or can't even say start. This just had a regular, straight up fight brawl feel to it. You know, a lot of focus. Notice SAnity put a lot of focus on attacking on Big E. And I'm not saying that as a bad way or a good way. It's just more so a lot of the attacks were focused on him. You know, and honest to God, I gotta say the MVP of this match, hands down, had to be Killian Dane. Now, the guy is just a freaking amazing. If you've never seen him before he got in WWE, look him up. He was in ICW, Big Damo. You know, freaking 300-pounder from Belfast. Guy freaking can move and work. And I know some people are going to shit about the idea he's wearing a shirt while wrestling. You know what? So does Cassius Ohno. But does that take away from his wrestling skill? No. So don't worry about that. Just enjoy the damn show. You know? Don't, you know, it's one thing to split hairs about, you know, like, well, I like this wrestler when they were wearing these outfits. You know? But don't go being like, oh, well, he's wearing a shirt, so they must think he's too big, and they don't like hairy, pale-skinned guys. Fuck, dude, no. Don't go overthinking this shit. Just look at it. Okay, he's wearing a shirt. Simple marketing. How else are you going to push merchandise unless you're wearing it? That said, though, match came to an end. There was tables set up on the outside. Alexander Wolf was fighting with Kofi, trying to get him over. Kofi was on the apron, Wolf was on the inside. They were both trying to get each other. Kofi was trying to toss him over. Wolf was trying to just straight up knock him down. And Wolf wound up knocking out Kofi, had him propped and elevated. EY off the top rope, hailed to the King elbow drop while Wolf was holding him, prompted him, boom, smashed him through. That was it. They won. So SAnity won. Now we move on to the main show, Matt Hardy, Bray Wyatt versus the B Team. Yeah. Well, this was a nice start for the show. Good back and forth, you know. Really like the way on how the match just went in general, you know. Normally, it had a good back and forth kind of feel to it. And, you know, it's really always do appreciate that kind of a match. It came to an end when Matt and Bray were getting ready to set up the Leader of World finish when freaking, that's right, it was Curtis Axel was on the outside, distracted Bray. Bray went over to chase after him. Bo Dallas threw Matt into Bray, knocked Bray out of the ring, and then Bo had Matt elevated on the ropes and then hit a corkscrew neck breaker. Got the 1, 2, 3. So, yeah, they're the tag team champions now. Anyways, it's been announced next week's episode of Raw, they're going to have their title rematch. So with that said, next matchup we get Finn Balor, Baron Corbin. And Corbin leading right at the start, you know. Liked on how Corbin really had an answer for pretty much everything Finn was throwing at him when Finn started to build a comeback. Corbin just, you know, Finn would start getting a few shots in. You know, looks like he's getting his second win. And then next, you know, Corbin, boom. Liked on how that is. Do not like on how the build-up for this went, though. You know, it was just way too much. Cookie cutter, very much so same way between Cass and Daniel Bryan. It was, I'm bigger, I'm taller, I'm stronger, I'm this. You're a little guy. Seriously? That's your argument? Dude, Napoleon was like, I think, 5 foot even. And look on how look at his accomplishments, you know? You don't always need to be the biggest to be the baddest, you know? But yeah, fairly okay match. I mean, it was nothing to write home about. Wouldn't say it was a piss break, but anyways, match came to an end. Balor got a quick inside cradle on Corbin, 1, 2, 3. That was it. And based off of some of the little teases and talking from Monday after the pay-per-view, Corbin and Balor may be going on down into SummerSlam. Nothing's been said yet, but that's what it's looking like. Next up, we got Asuka versus Carmella with Ellsworth in a shark cage above the ring. And right at the start, once Ellsworth's in there and the cage is up, Carmella, she starts going, working striking game on Mella, hitting her hard, fast. Ellsworth, though, very much so, playing the chicken shit heel that he is. You know, dropped the chain down for Carmella to go use, got knocked out of her hand, dropped the thing of mace down for her to use, didn't work, and then at one point, Ellsworth wound up pulling out like a freaking bobby pin or something, picked the lock and tried to jump out, and had his leg caught, and here's my big takeaway when that happened. When he got caught, you could see his jacket or his shirt frailed down. Gravity is a bitch. You could see he had a kick pad on his chest. And my first thought was, you had to imagine Vince McMahon being pissed as shit. God fucking damn it, man. They could see the fucking pad on his back. God damn it. Well, play it off. Play it off. We'll tell him that he's wearing a Kevlar, something to protect against her. God fucking damn it. How the fuck did that happen? You know, that's just on how I'm picturing that went. But, anyways, match came to an end as Ellsworth is dangling upside down like that, like a piece of game that just got hunted, hanging out after you just freshly gut it. You know, they bring the cage down to undo him. As they're doing that, Carmella, boom, throws Asuka right into the cage, and then goes for the pin. Ref counts 1, 2, 3. That was it. So Carmella won, and then a lot of people are shitting like, oh, well, you remember when Asuka used to mean something and was undefeated in NXT? Those were good times. Dude, undefeated streaks are only good for so long. After that, it's just like, okay, so who are you having them feed? Why do you think Bill Goldberg wound up fizzling out as fast as he did. I mean, once he won the world title, that was when you knew, well, his streak's going to end now. Because, honestly, it was, well, his streak's ending now. Can't be champion forever. You know? Boom. Yeah, you can't just work it like that. Not only that, you look at it in this way, Asuka, she looks a lot better off being the hunter, chasing after it, as opposed to being the hunted. She spent 2 years, just about 2 years in NXT, being the hunted, you know, as the women's champion. So, while yeah, she can work a match with pretty much anyone, and it'll be great. But where's the story? Where's the story, and where's the hook that gets you in it? You know? That said, next matchup, Jeff Hardy, Shinsuke Nakamura, and well, I guess technically you could say this was the piss break of the night because on how relatively short this match was. You know, ref turned his back, Shinsuke wound up, boom, low blow right onto Jeff, and he's just over in his corner like, oh, what happened to him? You know, pretty sure Nakamura wound up going to the Rule Breakers convention when Yano was a key speaker. You know? But yeah. As that, you know, Jeff's in the corner, grabbing onto his nuts like, yeah, yeah, go, ring the bell. They ring the bell. The second the bell rings, Nakamura running, boom, hits the Kinshasa, 1, 2, 3. So he is now the new WWE United States Champion. And as he's out celebrating, out comes Randall Orton. So Mr. RKO has returned. He doesn't have that long, swavy hair he once had. Now he's back down to a buzz cut. Came down, stared a hole at Nakamura, and then proceeded to go and kick Jeff Hardy in the nuts. So yeah, there's that. So next matchup we get Braun Strowman versus Kevin Owens in the steel cage match. And I still can't help but laugh because the build up for this was really just more so that segment with the porta potty. And all I can think is Vince McMahon pitching this in creative. What if we get Braun Strowman, that big, huge bastard, chase after Kevin Owens, and then Owens, that bastard, runs and hides in a porta potty, and then Strowman traps him. He traps him, drags the porta potty out, and then kicks it over. And then he's covered in this blue shit. God damn, that's some good stuff right there. You got a picture. That's on how the creative had to, that's on how Vince had to pitch that at the production meeting. You know, but yeah, as far as with this one, it was really good. It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. You know, Owens, he wound up playing a good chicken shit heel, trying to run and get out of there as quick as possible. But him fighting back against Braun, the way he was doing it was really believable because, you know, he was timing his shots. He was timing his throws and his punches, basically. And it was just really good on how it was. Like, Strowman trying to do running charge, then Owens, boom, moves out the way. Works a few kidney shots, gets a step back, boom, hits a super kick. Boom, hits a super kick. Tries to get out, gets stopped. Braun proceeds to pummel him again, and then repeat. You know? So basically something along those lines, but that's on how it went. And like I said, it was believable. Now, part that wound up getting it, how the match wound up coming to an end. At one point, Owens, he tried going through the front, didn't work. Braun stopped him, and then he handcuffed Braun to the top rope. He proceeded to throw a few super kicks at him, and then just looked at Braun while he was on the other side. Was like, "Hey, Braun, suck it!" And then proceeded to climb up. As he's climbing, Braun just, boom, yanks the chain off, pulls his arm out, breaks the chain, goes up, starts climbing up, stops him. And they're both standing on top of the cage right there. And then Braun chokeslams Owens down onto the table, the announce table out there. So it pretty much looked like a fucking murder at one point. A lot of people were comparing it to the infamous Mick Foley Hell in a Cell drop, especially given that they were both in Pittsburgh. I didn't think of that. My first thought was, holy fuck! He just threw him off the top of the cage! And Owens is known to have a history of back issues. My first thought was, oh my god, please don't tell me his back went out on that. You know, but... So technically, Kevin Owens won, but if you ask Braun Strowman, he'll look at you and say, who was the last one standing? So yeah. So next matchup, we got tag action. We got Team Hell No versus the Bludgeon Brothers. Now, they did do a segment earlier in the show where the Bludgeon Brothers attacked Bryan and Kane, and at one point they wedged Kane's ankle in between a doorway and then used the hammer to slam, hit it. So now it was reported that Kane came in there earlier that day wearing an immobilizing air cast on him, you know, on that boot, on his one foot, because he was lingering ankle injury or something, I don't know. But so for a majority of the match, it was just Daniel Bryan, and Bryan, he was putting up a decent fight, but it was very much so a believable handicap match in that sense of the two guys had the advantage and they were beating the crap out of them. Just as they were getting ready to size up the finish, boom, Kane's music hits. You see him out limping, wearing that air cast, and then he comes out, cleans house, and then gets tag in, starts working, and then after a little bit, after Bryan's caught his breath, he tags himself back in, hits a drop kick, hits a few drop kicks, few yes kicks, and then the Bludgeon Brothers wind up hitting like this doomsday clothesline onto Daniel Bryan and get the 1, 2, 3. That was it. So yeah, I don't think we're gonna be I don't think we're going to be seeing much more of Kane coming up, especially with the fact that he's he's on the actual electoral ballot in Knoxville County. So, yeah. Next match after that, it was Roman Reigns, Bobby Lashley, and this I was really taken back on because I was really impressed with on how this match went. You know, I figured it was going to go this way. I figured the match was going to... I had an idea on how the match was going to play out in my head. And to a degree it did. And it was just, wow. It was really good all the way around, you know. Nice snug tie-up right at the start. Nice back and forth going through it all. It was two big guys, two big tough son of a bitches wanting to show that they're the alpha. And only one of them can be. And that is exactly what this match was saying. And that's what it was, you know. It was good. I liked it. I dug it. And, you know, I dig Roman's work, you know. I've been digging it ever since that night where they did that trios match, Evolution and versus Shield, and a Extreme Rules match. And that night, Roman walked out with his back all bruised up. You know, like I said it then and I'll say it now. That was his, that was his way of getting made. Being a made guy. And, yeah, he's a made guy. He's a good worker. He's got a good look. He's a hell of a figure. He's a good looking kid. The guy's going to go places. Whether the fans cheer him or boo him, you know? And You know, I feel bad for Roman in a sense because he could become a technical wizard and outperform Daniel Bryan, Zack Sabre Jr., you know, Kenny Omega, whoever. He could wind up doing that. But the fans will still shit on him and say, oh, well, he's not a good wrestler at all. Dude, let the people who like him just like him instead of shitting on them. You know? There are people out there who like Kenny Omega and people who don't. The people who don't typically tend to leave him alone. You know why? Because they're busy liking the ones they like. Anyways, back to the Roman Lashley match. It's a good match. I liked on how the ending went. It was Roman, he got a Superman punch in. He was getting ready, sizing Bobby up for a spear. And Bobby, boom, hit a spear on him. 1, 2, 3. That was it. So Bobby won. Can't really... I was more so surprised at the fact that my Twitter at Tim Vicious timeline blew up with people like, well, I wasn't expecting that. Really? Dude, I fucking called that. I fucking called that a long while ago. You know, but yeah. Now, to tie in with that match, Kurt did make a ultimatum about with Brock not being on Raw, not defending the Universal title at the pay-per-view, saying if Brock doesn't show up on Monday night to discuss his next title defense, he'll be stripped of the title. Brock wasn't at Raw. Just as Kurt was about to strip him of it, Paul Heyman came out and said, listen, the reason why Brock's not here is because Brock is busy trying to elevate this company. He wants to be a dual champion of 2 different sports. He's working to become the UFC heavyweight champion again. He wants to hold both titles, much like you, Mr. Angle, held WWE titles while having that Olympic gold medal around your neck. So, he was saying that. And, okay, that's a valid then and moderately believable reason. But Kurt, still being the boss, said, listen, point blank, you're going to have him, he's going to either agree he's defending his title at SummerSlam or he's stripped of it. Alright, you make a hard argument, Mr. Angle, but he will defend the title at SummerSlam. And then out comes a slew of people wanting to go and get a title shot. Long story short, it led to 2 triple threat matches, and at the end of it, Bobby and the winner of the 2 triple threat matches face off next week for the #1 contender spot, and it was Lashley versus Roman then. So way I'm actually seeing it, I think it can go one of 2 ways. Bobby wins, and then Bobby wins at SummerSlam. Or Roman wins, Roman goes to SummerSlam, Roman loses, Braun Strowman cashes in. Something like that. You know, Braun could wind up taking a page out of Seth Rollins' book and cash in right out in the middle of the match, take out both guys, get the pin 1, 2, 3, and then walk out with the title. That's what I'm thinking. You know, it could go one of 2 ways like that. Excuse me. So yeah, now next matchup after Roman Lashley, it was Nia Jax, Alexa Bliss, Extreme Rules match with Ronda Rousey sitting ringside. Which, yes, because we're going to validate that the fact that this current employee is suspended from in-ring action and be perfectly okay with them sitting ringside watching it. You know, I'm not sure, but I don't think they would do that kind of shit anywhere else. You know, I don't think they'd do that in any other kind of sport, but, you know, but yeah, the whole 30-day suspension thing, obviously it was a work. yes, it was a work. So let's not shit on that and try and split hairs. But the part that drove me nuts on it was the fact that they kept showing on WWE kept showing on their Twitter feed and all that she was still, quote unquote, fulfilling obligations while being under her suspension. If you're fucking suspended, you don't get to qualify and finish up your obligations. No, you are pulled from them. That's exactly what it's supposed to be. But either way, Nia Jax, Alexa Bliss, Nia leading it. Nia was leading it. And Bliss, she was working good as the chicken shit heel. And, notice that's the recurring theme throughout the whole show. A lot of the heels doing heel work were being like chicken shit heels. Short from like SAnity, B-Team, and Nakamura. Basically, almost all the heel work was chicken shit heel. Which is great. Because, why have a bad guy that's big and brave and brawny when, they're supposed to be like, yeah, I can do this. Well, then do it. You know what? No, never mind. I don't want to right now. So yeah. And after a while, between Bliss and Nia, Mickie James wound up trying to come in, and then Natalya and Bliss and James were working on Natalya, and then Ronda was like, I can't stand here and watch this. Hopped the rail, proceeded to beat the shit out of Mickie James, started to go after started to go after Bliss. Bliss ran off, and then after that, as Nia was getting ready to go and finish Alexa off, doing the Samoan drop, next thing you know, Mickie James, wham, chair to the back, and then Bliss did a DDT on the chair to Nia. 1, 2, 3, that was it. So, the following night on Raw, Bliss came out, cut a promo, talked about on how she beat her. She beat Nia, she beat the bully, and because of what Ronda did, she should be suspended indefinitely until further notice, which honestly makes sense. But as she's cutting this promo, Ronda's coming out from the crowd, and my biggest takeaway from her coming out of the crowd was she had the top of her hair braided zigzag like this. Now, I know I can't talk much shit because, the way I got mine, I got Nordic braiding, I got Nordic Viking braids in there. But, god damn, what the hell? That shit was just confusing. Because you got all up top right here braided, but the rest is all flowing down long, like, the hell? So, she comes down, hops the rail, chases after Bliss and James, and then proceeds to get ready to go and try and put James in the armbar. And then Kurt comes out and says, whoa, Ronda, you need to go home because of last night. You're supposed to be suspended until Wednesday. Now, after last night, you got another week added to that. Corbin comes out saying, because of 1 week? Why don't you just send her to the principal's office and give her a slap on the wrist? She should be suspended indefinitely. And as Corbin runs off to go and try and find his phone to go and figure out what to do, Kurt says, listen, I'm going to make this simple. When you come back, you're going to have a match at SummerSlam. It's going to be against Alexa, and it's going to be for the title. So, yeah. There's that. Now, next matchup after that, Rusev versus AJ Styles. Nice good start into Rusev, working the power game over Styles. Really liked on how it went. I absolutely love this match. Rusev, for the most part, was really kind of leading it, and it was really great. I absolutely loved it. This felt like Rusev's coming out party to him, if you will. Like, hey, this is your first title shot. Show us that you earned it. you know, god damn, he fucking showed it. He did great. Then match wound up coming to an end. Styles, he wound up hitting a phenomenal forearm onto Rusev. So not much of a surprise. You knew, kind of figured that was going to be the given choice for who was going to win. But like I said, a lot of times if you know on how the ending's going to go, don't worry about on how it's going to end. Worry about everything that leads to the end. You know? Like, we'll just say for the sake of argument, a superhero movie. You know at the end of a superhero movie, you know, the superhero is going to triumph and defeat the bad guy. Trick is to figure out, to watch the movie to see how and what it took for that hero to be able to. Same thing with matches like this, where you know the obvious winner. Now, next up, main event, and probably I'd have to say match of the night: Seth Rollins, Dolph Ziggler, Intercontinental title, first time Intercontinental title match main evented a pay-per-view in about 17 years. So yeah, now this really nice, great back and forth within the first 5 minutes. You know, the guys trying to get a feel for each other. You know, Seth, he got the first pin. He actually wound up getting 3 pins at one point within the first 10 minutes of it. Like, he wound up getting one, like, and then like 2 or 3 minutes later got another, and then like another 2 minutes later got another. Now at one point he was leading 3-0, and then Ziggler, he wound up picking up and scored 3 pins consecutively, back to back to back. Now the crowd, they were really into it. In fact, the timer, every time the timer was starting to do, well, it showed the timer up in the corner. Every time it was going down, it would do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Every time it got to 5. And I can't knock that, you know. That's the fans being fans. They were having fun. Let them. It's not hurting nothing, and it's not taking away from the match. Now at one point, frickin' McIntyre did interfere in the match and attacked Seth, which caused Seth to gain a point in the match. And after that, the ref threw Drew out, and before he threw him out, that's when he hit him with the Claymore, and that's what led to Dolph getting the score. And yep, the score wound up being 4-3 Dolph when it was at the 10-minute mark in the match, when there was like 10 minutes left. And then when it was like 3 minutes left, it was left down to tied 4-4. And it was like real nail biter, like, oh, okay, what's it gonna take? What's it gonna take? You know? And so, and Seth, he wound up hitting a curb stomp, but he was so out of it, and you could see he was fighting, crawling. But as they got the 3, Seth just finally got on top of Dolph, and it was 1, 2, bam, match is done. They called for a tie and said, doing like an old blackjack, like playing blackjack, in case of tie, dealer wins. So in case of tie, title don't change. Kurt came out and said, whoa, we ain't doing this. This match is going to get restarted. It's sudden death. Get on back out there. So, they do sudden death. They go back in there. Just as Dolph gets back in there, McIntyre comes out, distracts Seth. And just as Seth's out there trying to shake off, McIntyre, Ziggler, boom! Zigzag, 1, 2, 3, gets the winning one. So, Dolph Ziggler is your winner and still Intercontinental Champion. And that does it for this week's show, folks. So, like on normal, do not forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, go back, watch some of the other episodes. Make sure y'all look for me on my Twitter at TimVicious. Do also have another account, Tim_Vicious, in case I get put in Twitter jail or I'm ghosted. Also on that Facebook gimmick, Tim Ash. If you're going to look for me on there, make sure you let me know you found me on there from here or from my Twitter at TimVicious. So I don't think you got your creep John going. Also, folks, Do not forget to follow all of these cool-ass cats right here on the Twitter. Axel Mulligan, make sure you check out Axel's newest project, Brit Wrestling Review. They talk about British and European wrestling. Kenny Kill, my two good brothers. I am Danny Sunday. And Oliver Ben, who's the executive producer for this show and did provide music for this week's show. Make sure you check him out. He's on iTunes, Spotify, and such. Details are down below. And also, don't be afraid to hit Ollie up for one of these Ollie Rewind shirts. Show the man some love and support. Cranky Grandpa, Aaron_the_Barn, Dazzy MWP. And folks, like I always tell you, you love me great, you hate me. Fuck you.